Right now, the force is strong in Sun Prairie as Star Wars: A New Hope is screened in a certain language for the first time. Also, why this Labor Day weekend is the best time to visit the Yahara River, what an organization is doing to keep the water clean. And we're following how a toddler was found in a cornfield by using an eye in the sky. We'll show you how it was done. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. A woman is found dead in Whitewater late Friday night, and a man was detained in connection with the case. According to the Whitewater Police Department, officers responded to an apartment home at the 100 block of West Whitewater Street just before midnight Friday. The officers found a 21-year-old woman dead. They observed the woman had sustained multiple gunshot wounds. Police identified the victim as Carol Walsh of Plainfield, Illinois. She was a student at UW-Whitewater. Police say an investigation found that leading up to the shooting, an altercation had occurred between the man and the woman. According to police, the 23-year-old man has been arrested. He is facing first-degree intentional homicide, endangering safety by use of a dangerous weapon, and disorderly conduct while armed. The man is currently being held and detained at the Walworth County Jail. Whitewater police are asking anyone with information relevant to this investigation to call 262-473-0555. The return of football to Camp Randall Stadium Friday did not mean everyone in attendance was on their best behavior. According to stats released by UW-Madison police, today 27 people were ejected from the stadium during Friday's game. 11 were identified as UW students. 10 were also cited and ejected for underage alcohol reasons, while 2 were cited and kicked out for using a false ID. In all, officials responded to 35 first aid calls, 16 paramedic calls, and 1 call for an ambulance. One pickpocketing man who is a constant disruption at a bar on the 200 block of West Gorham Street was told to leave the bar. However, the troublemaker punched one of the bar employees before running out of the bar. This all happened around 1 in the morning today. Police were called and detained the assaulter nearby. When more was searched, a woman's wallet was found. Fortunately, it was returned to her. The man was arrested for battery and theft from the person. He now has a probation hold. Friday night, just before 10, Madison police responded to a report of a car parked in the middle of the road at the intersection of Anley Street and Huxley Street near Brentwood Village. Upon arrival, officers found the car had no license plates and the driver of the car was unconscious. When officers approached the vehicle on foot, the driver woke up and sped off. Officers eventually pulled the driver over and searched the vehicle. Officers found cocaine, psilocybin, and marijuana. The driver was arrested for third offense of OWI and possession with intent to sell cocaine. Now let's get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, we've certainly caught a break temperature-wise here in Madison.
Yeah, you know, about a week ago we were getting ready for that heat and humidity, which then got us into the 90s to start off last week. Now we're going into your Labor Day weekend on a much different note. A Canadian high-pressure system, our latest one, continues to reinforce the pleasant air. As we go into your Saturday evening, you can hear the bugs. There's a little bit of a breeze, so if you haven't done so already, open up the windows and let in some fresh air. We're in the 60s and 70s underneath clear to mostly clear conditions across southern Wisconsin. 73 in Camp Douglas, 64 though in Toma, 70 in Baraboo. We're looking at a pretty pleasant evening, upper 50s to low 60s tonight underneath those clear to mostly clear conditions. A little bit more cloud cover, and I use that term very loosely, maybe stretching from La Crosse back into Fond du Lac as a low pressure system and its trailing clouds are actually maybe just going to clip us here overnight. But planning ahead for your Labor Day, 2 days away. This extended weekend continues though to be pleasant. Plenty of sunshine, low 70s from start to finish. We're starting out in the 50s, ending in those low 70s with light winds on your Labor Day. We are tracking, though, the return of rain when we see you here for the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, we'll see you then. For those that know me, it is no secret that Star Wars is one of my biggest loves in life. And I have a fun fact. Did you know that Star Wars has been translated into more than 50 languages? Well, now it's adding a new one, Ojibwe. Marcus Theaters is bringing the dubbed classic to the big screen in Sun Prairie. Our Ellie La Liberté takes to the theater.
Palace Cinemas is one of 4 theaters in Wisconsin screening Star Wars: A New Hope in Ojibwe. Ojibwe is an indigenous people's language, and it's spoken by roughly 300,000 people across the United States and Canada. And there are speakers in southern Wisconsin, like Running Horse.
Giga Minigos, Mamanda Wizuin.
That means may the force be with you in Ojibwe. Running horse Livingston says he's not fluent but is proficient in the language.
It's a beautiful language. It's complex, but it's very beautiful. Our culture as Ojibwe people is intertwined with the language.
And he loves a movie that speaks to him, literally.
Having grown up with grandparents that spoke it, growing up in a home where it was spoken, and being a Star Wars fan, it was really exciting when the idea of the movie came out.
Marcus Theaters, a Wisconsin-founded company, and its partners dubbed the Star Wars movie A New Hope in Ojibwe. It's a goal of inclusivity.
We have a film team that actively looks to, find product that our guests want to see, and this is one of them.
To get that product to the screen takes time. It means coming up with new words like lightsaber.
It was meant to be seen in their native language and in a theater that was made to make Star Wars be seen, right? The big movies, the screens. That's what movies are about. So we're able to give that to these folks speaking this language.
Livingston also says it showcases the efforts to revitalize the language.
It was important to learn as an Indigenous person, as an Ojibwe tribal member, to pass down to my children and future generations so that we don't lose the language. Namadabin. Good boy.
And now part of that can mean seeing it on the big screen.
It's going to be so cool. I cannot wait to go see it.
The Palace Cinema will be screening the dubbed Star Wars movie until September 4th. Reporting in Sun Prairie, Eliel Liberté, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. The next showing is Sunday at 3:50 p.m. at Palace Cinema in Sun Prairie. And good news at the Yahara River. This Labor Day weekend, the Yahara River Watershed Improvement Network announces for the 7th straight year it has surpassed its phosphorus reduction goals. Phosphorus is the leading source of algae blooms and other water quality issues.
As we know, it just takes just 1 pound of phosphorus to make 500 pounds of algae, and too much algae growth is bad for water quality.
The Yahara River is connected to Lake Mendota, Monona, Wabisa, and Kegnosa. Elsewhere in Madison, Flying Low Skate Shop and WIRT came together to watch skaters pull off some wicked stunts at the first annual Sport Day Wart Skateboard Contest.
We've got skaters in 4 different levels competing for prizes that were all wrangled by Flying Low Skate Shop. WIRT is providing DJs for the event to provide live music and also just to spread the wart in the community.
The event paired the best music and skateboarders in the Madison area. The event looks to highlight some of the best shredders that we have to offer. Fortunately, the first 40 people to enter the contest participated for free. Authorities say a cat is the reason a 3-year-old boy turned up missing in the middle of a massive cornfield in east central Wisconsin. This happened last Sunday in rural Fond du Lac County. Within hours, sheriff deputies found the boy, fortunately, and they credit training, teamwork, and technology for the toddler's safe return. Brittany Schmidt has more.
93, we're heading in the car now.
With a flashlight in hand on the ground.
Oh, close our way.
And a drone above leading the way.
I got you. Sure, 93, we got him.
That is the sound of relief.
We're safe now. Good morning.
Surrounded by 6-foot corn stalks.
We're going to find your mom, okay? We're going to go find your parents.
This site made possible by teamwork, training, and technology.
Immediately, they realized the need for a drone, and more specifically, a drone with thermal capabilities to be able to essentially see in the dark.
The Fond du Lac Police Department didn't hesitate to send its pilot to do what ground crews couldn't.
Obviously, the drone assisted us greatly in being able to look for heat signatures, something that people on foot wouldn't be able to do. And the longer through time something like this progresses, the bigger the search area, the potential search area becomes. So truly grateful that we were able to help.
Once the drone was in the sky, those on the ground knew what to do.
Our drones are, they have lights on them and everything, so the deputies can see them. And when we have trained for these circumstances, and what we essentially direct our ground deputies to do is, hey, we know you can't see the heat sensor, but you can see the drone. So walk until you're directly underneath the drone, and you'll essentially find what you're looking for.
In this case, it was a missing 3-year-old boy about a half a mile away from home. As for the cat he was chasing...
That I don't know.
We'll put on an APL for that.
Thankfully, the boy was in good shape when he was found. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, the race for the White House draws closer. The latest on each candidate's campaign efforts. And Blaze Keller is back with a complete look at your First One forecast when we return.
I was a Kamala Harris supporter. That changed after an illegal alien murdered my son, running him over, then driving back and forth over Drew's body 3 times. The man who killed my son had been arrested previously, but Kamala Harris let him go. As San Francisco's DA, Kamala was soft on crime. As a senator, she supported releasing criminal aliens back into our neighborhoods. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Old windows? Compromise your home's comfort. Vinyl windows, a 1970s relic, aren't built for extreme weather. They warp and crack, becoming vulnerable to the elements. At Next Door and Window, we have the answer. Fiberglass. Our Ultrex fiberglass windows last up to 50 years, longer than any other window you can buy. And while other companies cut corners and never call you back, we've got your back. When you demand tomorrow's comfort, Next delivers. Visit nextwindow.com to learn more.
This is you. And you are why we do what we do. Each and every one of you are wonderful, amazing people. So we'll treat you that way on your journey of trusted care. Because the way you, and you feel matters. Unity Point Health Meritor, a partner of UW Health, know how much you matter to this world.
Kyle just made a decision that would change his whole world.
Hey, you're sober? You drive.
Kyle just made a decision that would change his whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Let's do this.
Introducing Chevy's best lineup of SUVs ever. The rugged, always-ready Trailblazer, the first ever Traverse Z71, and the Chevy Trax, starting at $21,495. When it's your time to shine, Chevy's got you.
Get 1.9% financing on select popular 2024 Chevy SUVs when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
I will make it a top priority to bring down costs for all Americans.
Her plan? She'll take on big oil and drug companies who rip us off, penalize big corporations who price gouge us on food and gas, and make billionaires pay their fair share.
Donald Trump fights for billionaires and large corporations. I will fight to give money back to working and middle-class Americans.
LCB Victory Fund and FF PAC are responsible for the content of this ad.
3 for the people. We should all be able to control our own reproductive lives.
I'm tackling the topic of women's reproductive rights and letting you know exactly where the candidates stand on this pivotal issue to help you cast an informed vote on Election Day, Tuesday at 6.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for staying with us. The race for the White House. Former President Trump appeared before a women's group last night trying to reach female voters that polls show heavily lean towards Vice President Kamala Harris. Bradley Blackburn has more on how abortion rights and IVF are influencing the race.
Former President Trump took the stage Friday night in front of the conservative group Moms for Liberty, part of a push to win over women voters.
When you see some of the things that they want people to do in these school boards, and they become like dictatorships, and the parents are screaming.
In a surprise this week, Trump said if elected, he'd make IVF treatment free, a move that could cost billions of dollars a year.
The government is going to pay for it, or we're going to get or mandate your insurance company to pay for it, which is going to be great.
Polls show a significant gender gap between Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris, and CBS News polls show she leads among voters who say abortion is a major factor in their vote. Trump has softened his stance on the issue and faced criticism from some in his own party.
Backing away from that fundamental principle that the party has championed for 45 years
is a big deal.
Harris has launched what her campaign calls a reproductive freedom bus tour with more than 50 stops planned before Election Day.
And if he wins, Donald Trump will go further. He will sign a national abortion ban. You best believe.
Harris was off the trail Friday after giving an interview to CNN with her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Campaigning continues this weekend as Governor Tim Walz will attend the Minnesota State Fair on Sunday, while former President Trump just finished up an interview with Fox News. Now let's get a look at your first warn forecast with the meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, what should we expect this holiday weekend?
Well, we're going to continue to sit underneath these pleasant conditions. Our latest Canadian high pressure system is to thank for that. Now, tomorrow it is going to be a bit breezy compared to where we were today and where we will be on Monday, your Labor Day, just because we've got to move in this drier and slightly cooler air mass in time for your Labor Day. And then we are tracking the return of showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two as we head into, say, your second half of next week. Again, a high pressure system is the reason why we are so quiet. As I mentioned, breezy on Sunday. We have to move in that air mass, and so we have to push out the other one. And that conflict between the two, replacing one with the other, causes these breezy conditions sometimes, and that's what we're going to experience on Sunday. But by breezy, maybe an occasional gust upwards of 20 miles per hour. It's not going to be a very breezy day. So get out on the water. You won't have to deal with any waves, at least inland. Maybe out on Lake Michigan, you will be potentially running into some of those bigger waves because it is more open than, say, some of our inland lakes. And then on Monday, that center of high pressure system is overhead. And that means that our winds really die down. We continue to sit underneath those clear to mostly clear conditions. Overnight, Monday into Tuesday, our winds turn back out of the south. We maybe introduce some patchy fog, and then we start to slowly warm on up as we head into the second half of next week. But let's jump ahead and talk about our next rainmaker. What's going to happen is a cutoff low is going to, as I just said, get cut off from the jet stream. It's going to kind of circulate the same air, if you will, but it will be cooler than where we will be about the middle of next week. We're going to dip into those upper 60s, if not the low 70s, by our upcoming weekend. You can see the darker blue there, indicating that about 70%, 60 to 70% chance of sitting underneath cooler than average temperatures as we go into that next upcoming weekend time frame. And watch as this low pressure system just spins its way over the Midwest. It moves backwards. That's atypical. Obviously, weather moves from west to east. So what it does there is it retrogrades. It moves backwards. And that's why we sit underneath essentially the same weather for a couple of days, because that's the air mass that's going to be sitting over us. Nothing is pushing this low pressure system out of here. But because it's going to be circulating on itself for a couple of days, we'll probably lose that thunderstorm chance early and then keep that rain chance as we go further into your upcoming weekend. But they're starting Thursday into Friday and then picking up as we go into Saturday and Sunday. We introduce that rain chance back to southern Wisconsin. Until then, sitting underneath very pleasant conditions. Plenty of sunshine and maybe just an occasional gust of wind tomorrow for your Sunday. We're back into those low to mid 70s. So a very pleasant holiday weekend. But I do have to mention quickly that actually Thursday night into Friday, 2 more tornadoes touched down in northwestern Wisconsin, St. Croix and Pierce County, both EF0s. But that brings our statewide total up to 44, which is the 3rd most tornadoes to touch down in Wisconsin in recorded history. The second most would be 46 back in 2010, I believe. I wrote a whole thing about it. You can head on over to our website if you want to read more, because this has been a very historic year all around in terms of our tornado season, beginning with the first February tornadoes in Wisconsin's recorded history. So there's a look at your 10-day forecast. No severe weather, just some rain there starting Thursday through that upcoming weekend, when we'll hang out in the upper 60s to low 70s.
Pretty exciting year for your career and the rest of our weather.
It has been quite interesting. Yeah. Thankfully, we've been fairly quiet for the last couple of weeks.
I know. Fingers crossed it stays that way. Sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Tens of millions of Americans are traveling this holiday weekend, the last one of a busy summer season. CBS's Christian Benavides reports from Miami.
From California to Colorado to Texas and across the country, millions of Americans are hitting the road for the unofficial end of summer this Labor Day weekend.
We're going to go to Philly and get a cheesesteak and then head on down to Roanoke, down the Appalachians. So some beautiful scenery.
Helping to fuel the travel, Americans are finding lower prices at the pump. The national average is now $3.35 a gallon, nearly 50 cents lower than last year.
Plan ahead on your trip. Have that route mapped out. That way you have an alternate route if you do encounter a lot of traffic on the interstate.
A record number of air travelers are expected as well. The TSA expects to continue its record-breaking summer by screening over 17 million travelers this Labor Day weekend. Airlines are also expecting a record number of passengers. For American, that's nearly 14% more than at this time last year. For United, around 4%. In Florida, officials are stepping up DUI patrols both on the road and out in the water.
If you're going to be drinking out there, be responsible. Have someone else be the captain of the boat or take in charge of that boat because they are going to be enforcing DUIs.
AAA says Labor Day travel will be up 9% over last year, with most people driving to their vacation destination. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
The top 3 busiest airports over Labor Day weekend will be Atlanta, Chicago O'Hare, and Dallas-Fort Worth. And coming up in sports, the Badgers talk about a tough-fought season opening win next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
We know the fentanyl coming from Mexico and China is a threat here in Wisconsin.
It's why Tammy Baldwin is working to stop it.
And Tammy passed the bipartisan Fend Off Fentanyl Act.
That takes on the Mexican cartels and the fentanyl coming from China.
And Tammy Baldwin voted 32 times to strengthen our border.
32 times to increase border patrols.
And technology to keep illegal drugs out. Because Senator Baldwin knows
keeping us safe is her first priority.
Tell Tammy Baldwin to keep securing our borders.
Okay, guys, we're all here because U.S. Cellular has an incredible deal. Right now, you can get 4 lines for just $90.
Sorry, just double checking. Is it really that good of a deal?
Yeah. It's a huge deal. You also get 4 free phones of your choice.
4 free phones! Wow, I just triple checked and that's awesome.
So go get that deal. Or at least help me clip. Do you check the expiration dates?
Oh, I can do that.
Great.
Get 4 free phones of your choice with no trade-in needed, plus 4 lines for $90.
It's their classic rock that brings audiences to their feet. It's Blue Oyster Cult, performing live Saturday, August 31st at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. Tickets on sale now through Ticketmaster. Over 5 decades of music, thrilling fans everywhere. It's Blue Oyster Cult, August 31st at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. Your odds are better here.
Car commercials are the same, but unbeatable deals and unmatched service isn't just a tagline for Janesville Nissan. It's in everything we do. We treat people the way we want to be treated, and that's not the same at many dealerships. Come see why you'll feel great buying a vehicle from Janesville Nissan. Unbeatable deals and unmatched service.
It's Hy-Vee's Labor Day Grill Out Sale this Friday through Monday. Fresh ground beef, just $2.99 a pound. Mouthwatering New York strips, just $5.88. 6-pack bottles of Pepsi products, just $3.48. Party-size Frito-Lay snacks, queso or salsa, just $3.98. Juicy, whole, seedless watermelon, just $2.99 each. And Hy-Vee hamburger or hot dog buns, just $1. Save in-store and online. Friday through Monday, only at Hy-Vee.
My day is packed. Client meetings,
patient rounds,
getting kids out the door.
But Eric Hovde thinks all women care about is Hollywood.
It's just deplorable. Sadly, with females, they spend too much time focused on what's going on in Hollywood.
Well, guess what, Eric Hovde?
We know you supported overturning Roe versus Wade.
And we know you'd vote for a national abortion ban, too.
Eric Hovde must think he knows better than us.
What is wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
And I give our guys a lot of credit. They didn't bat an eye. The leadership on this team is much different, and that's what I'm really excited and proud of. But it was a test. It was definitely a test, and that ball game came down to the fourth quarter, and you got to find a way to create some energy and momentum.
Trailing 14-3 in the fourth quarter, for a second there, things got serious. Western Michigan pushed Wisconsin football to the brink last night in their season opener, but the Badgers, they got it done when it mattered most. As much as this team looked more similar to last year's than fans may have hoped, this year's was able to do something different, close out and win a tough-fought game. As for what that means for the rest of the season, who's to say? But this weekend, they celebrate going 1-0.
We're working to be the best program we can be. And, I think we took a big step. Nobody really, batted eye or shut down when we were down in the fourth quarter. We knew what we had to do, and, we executed.
From the start of the winter, right when we got back on campus after last season was just about finishing and about coming out in fourth quarter. That's when games are won. And so to be able to do that tonight for all three phases to step up and make some plays when they need to be made, that's that carries a lot of weight, and winning isn't easy. So to be able to pull that one out tonight and just be disciplined at the end and just play fast and confident means a lot.
The Badgers will have South Dakota next week. Looking elsewhere in the Big Ten at the teams who were normal and kicked their season off on a Saturday. A strong start for a relatively new-look Nebraska team, but I'll believe it when I really see it. The Iowa offense exploded in the second half, raising some eyebrows, beating Illinois State 40-0. Just like the football season, the Wisconsin Huddle, News 3 Now's weekly sports show, is back in full swing. You can rewatch this past week's episode with star running back Ches Malusi, but make sure and set a reminder because this week, sports director Zach Hanley sits down with Badgers wide receiver Bryson Green. It will be live taped, as always, at Buck and Honey's in Sun Prairie on Monday night at 6, and the show itself will air right here on News 3 Now at 6:30 on Friday. And we have a big-time slate of volleyball coming up. The Badgers play in the State Farm College Volleyball Showcase in Milwaukee on Sunday and Monday in a who's who of the sport. The third-ranked Badgers will play top-ranked Texas in a national semifinal rematch on Sunday, and will play number 5 Stanford on Monday. We'll have coverage from Milwaukee for both blockbusters. Brewers back in Cincy. They're looking for their 5th straight win and their 80th victory of the season. Tied at 4 in the 6th. And check this out. Looked like a Reds home run. Blake Perkins said not so fast. He brings this one back. An incredible catch would set up this scoring chance in the 9th. Still tied at 4s. And the rookie Jackson Chorio, he'd seen enough. The go-ahead homer wins it for the Brewers. 5-4 is your final. We'll be right back with a check of your final weather when we return.
It never should have happened. The Waukesha Christmas Parade attack. 6 Wisconsinites mowed down by Darrell Brooks. Just days earlier, Brooks was arrested for trying to run over his girlfriend with the very same car. But Brooks was released on $1,000 bail. Senator Tammy Baldwin voted against increased funding for pretrial detention of violent criminals, making it easier for criminals like Darrell Brooks to terrorize our communities. Tell Senator Baldwin, violent criminals belong behind bars.
Drive into summer with the rugged Honda Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot. Summer is for exploring, so get outdoors, kick up some dust, get muddy, or just find that perfect campsite. All from Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So act now to get an offer you'll love. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer Event.
When you need inspiration, it's worth shopping Pick and Save, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices. Savings like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $2 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Pick and Save worth it every time.
It's your thing. Do what you want to do.
Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Doorbusters, like this gorgeous new sofa for just $397.
The Labor Day doorbuster deals Friday through Monday at Slumberland Furniture. Up to 60% off list. Get this comfy new sectional for just $9.97 and get the ottoman free. A free recliner with this reclining sofa for just $6.97. This medium firm queen mattress for just $2.88. Deals this hot are while they last only, so come early. Friday through Monday, the Labor Day doorbuster deals, only at Slumberland Furniture.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Everyday prices are too high. Food, rent, gas, back to school clothes. That is called Bidenomics. A loaf of bread costs 50% more today. Ground beef is up almost 50%. There's not much left at the end of the month. Bidenomics is working. The price of housing has gone up. It feels so hard to just be able to get ahead. And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
Energy is like a symphony. Every note, every chord, every instrument creates an incredible melody of power and possibility. But that energy needs to be reliable to have the same power, and affordable to keep the melody. At home, on the road, on farms and fleets, and even ports, propane and renewable propane lower carbon emissions while harnessing the full symphony of energy. Learn more about safe, clean, reliable propane at propane.com.
Kyle Pazorski, News 3 Now, weekend mornings, moving forward.
Andrew, real quick, what are you hoping to see from the Badgers as we head into week 2 against South Dakota?
Yeah, I think it's like Luke Fickell said, you want to see the biggest jump between week 1 and week 2. They've seen what they have. They've gotten on the field, played another opponent. Now you try to turn things up a notch and maybe have a play for more than 20 yards, which they didn't this week.
All right, well, sounds good. Blaze, a final check of the forecast before we head on out.
I mean, it's pretty nice out there. Not only tomorrow, but Monday, your Labor Day, Tuesday, Wednesday even. Low to mid 70s Sunday through Tuesday. Then we're back into the 80s with thunderstorms by Thursday.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze, and thank you, Andrew. And thank you all for joining us. See you back here tomorrow. Thank you for making it a great evening.